whispering, leaning toward Vine. Are you okay? Vine now slightly trying to avoid his gaze. Everyone is gathering around a diner table eating. Taehyung noticed that Vine looks pale and concerned. Mr. Kim looking at Taehyung. Taehyung, you should take Vine out on a dinner date, something when you are back from your business trip. That will lift her mood. Taehyung nods. You give a small tight smile and continue eating. Voice. You are running a slight fever. His voice catch everyone's attention and they all look at you. Pulling your hand away, it's just a normal fever, Taehyung. I'm fine. I'm calling the doctor right now. Your eyes widen at a sudden action. Mrs. Kim, come on, Taehyung. You are overreacting. She said she is feeling fine, right, Van? Mrs. Kim glanced at you, waiting for confirmation. Yeah, it's just a common fever. I'm fine. Van, you are coming with me to the doctor tomorrow morning after breakfast. Later, after dinner in the bedroom, you both return to your room. Taehyung goes into the bathroom while you start tidying up the bed. After a few minutes, Taehyung comes out of the bathroom. His hair is still slightly damp. He sneaks up behind, wrapping his arm around your waist in a back hug. You are brushing your hair and Taehyung buries his face into your neck. Serious whisper against your neck. When you should go to the hospital with me right now. You chuckle softly, meeting his intense gaze through the mirror. His concern and absent that make you smile. You are too serious, I am fine. But Taehyung isn't having it. He turns you around, gently pulling you even closer, his arm tightening around your waist, in a soft but full of concern. Baby, why are you so sad? Why aren't you talking to me like you usually do? What happened? He cups her cheek gently, but you. I'm fine, Taehyung. You are just overreacting even in front of your parents. Why did you do that? Taehyung, he frowns, confused by words. He grabs your wrist, gently pulling you closer, his eyes searching your for answer. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Stumbling over words. I'm sorry, I didn't want to know what I'm saying. My head is hurting. Expression change immediately to worry too. He watches you. I think you need rest since my parents are coming. I'm fine, Taehyung. He sits you down on the bed. His hand is still around your shoulder, trying to convince you to rest. Please just rest. You are not fine and I can't stand see you like that. Taehyung nods, removes his hand from your shoulder. You come out of the washroom and things still sitting on the bed waiting for you. You are still awake. You climb into the bed. Yeah, I'm awake. My wife needs some warm cuddle from my husband tonight to sleep well. Without warning, he pulls it over the man. Your head hits his firm chest. You blush, feeling the closeness. Worried, pressing his hand against your forehead. You still have a fever. Did you really take a medicine? You nod and snuggle deep into his chest. Murmuring against his chest. I love you, please don't leave me ever. You tighten your hug, but Taehyung pulls you back, slightly cupping your face and making you look at him. Why would I ever leave you? You are my everything. Even one day you ask me to leave, I won't. Leave it too much. He will smile warmly at you, then gently kisses your forehead. Early in the morning, you wake up in intense headache. Taehyung's arm is wrapped tightly around you, making it difficult to move. You gently try to remove his hand, but it's still awake. What's wrong? Why are you trying to remove my hand? My headache is really bad. I couldn't sleep at all. The haven't wanted to tell him, but the pain had become unbearable, and since he wouldn't loosen his grip, you had no choice. Hearing this, his eyes snap open, concerned. He quickly sat up and checks your temperature. You don't have a fever, but you need to take some medicine for your headache. We are going to doctor right now, he says while getting out of the bed. Taehyung softly reassuring, I will go get you some juice and make something light for you to eat, and you can take the medicine, okay? Taehyung heads on to the kitchen. He finds his parents already awake. We both hug this early. Mrs. Kim preparing to work for while Mrs. Kim is snapping on her juice. Mrs. Kim is smiling. Taehyung, ever since we come from South Korea, from Japan, we have been waking up early. After 3 days there, we got used to the time difference. Grinning as he grabbed the bottle of a fresh pineapple juice, your favorite. But you both were only for 6 months, the same time as the marriage with wine. Mrs. kept nodding, yeah, but still we got used to it. By the way, if you're hungry, why don't you wake up your wife? Taehyung was shaking his head and about to say something when Mr. Kim entered the kitchen and spoke. Why don't you make it for him? You're still here, son. Even after his marriage, he said with a chuckle. But Miss also needs to understand that I'm still his mom. It seems like he cares more about his wife now, and she is his priority. She sat with her arm crossed, looking at her husband. Then slightly frowned, thinking his mom and dad were joking, and then he smiled. Then it's not like that, mom. I still care about everyone. Please don't say things like that. It's make me uncomfortable. And actually, her headache is really bad after breakfast. We will be going to the hospital. Saying that, he starts making some toast while Mrs. Kim frowns slightly, but then look up at her and smile. I see you suddenly turned into such a sweet and caring husband. Thank you. Then Jackal quickly finishes preparing the toast and juice and dashes back up straight to you. Then entered her bedroom with a plate of breakfast and a glass of juice. Vina sitting at the edge of the bed, rubbing her forehead. You didn't take the medicine for your headache without eating breakfast first, did you? He placed the plates on the bed and looked at it with concern. Smiling softly, no thank my husband went directly to make breakfast for me. How could I wait? Not for him. Tang sat beside you, touching your forehead gently. Your fever is coming back again. Yeah, do you want me to feed you? Shaking your head, no thanks. Before you can finish, he holds a bite of food in front of your mouth. You chuckle and take the bite. Feed yourself though, Tay. He nods and take a bite as well. After finishing the breakfast, he hands you the medicine and you take it. Suddenly his phone rings and it says manager. Then picks up the call. Taehyung, seriously, yes, John, what's the update? Manager, sir, we need to leave for the business trip right now. Taehyung shocked. What, right now? But we have already closed the deals with the foreign company and the flight was scheduled for afternoon. Yes, sir, but I have personally requested to have the meeting sooner. Their daughter's wedding is tomorrow. I think we will have to cancel this meeting. I can't leave right now, especially for 2-day trip. Manager, okay, sir, I will inform your dad as well. Then Haman acknowledgement and cut the call while looking at him with a frown. Then why are you cancelling the trip? Didn't you and dad prepare everything for it? How can you cancel without informing him? When your head isn't good, how can I leave you alone like this? Before the conversation can continue, there is a knock on the door. Wine, come in. Out of one of the maid enters. Sir, Mrs. Kim is calling for you. Tang and Wine exchange a glance. Tell him I'm coming. The maid nodded and left, closing the door behind her. Tang let out a deep sigh. Please go, Tang. You don't need to worry about me as much. I can handle it. Wine, no prestige. Please just go. In the living room, Tang and Wine walk in together. Mrs. Kim and Mr. Kim is sitting with a cold expression. Mrs. Kim glared at Wine with clearly. Mr. Kim, why did you cancel this deal? Tang, Dad, I can't go right now. Mrs. Kim, why Tang? Is it because the wife isn't feeling well? Tang glanced at his mother and about to knock, but Wine quickly grabbed his hand. When no, mommy is going now, right, Tang? She looks at his eyes, and though Tang wants to refuse, but he can see the pleading in her eyes. Reluctantly, he nods. Mr. Kim, Tang, if your wife isn't feeling well, she can rest. You can call a doctor for her, okay? But you know this meeting is critical for future of our company. Mr. Kim nodded. And your mother is here to take care of your wife. Tang, you okay, Dad? Mr. Kim smiled and stand up and think, but Wine is pulling Tang's clothes and placing them in his luggage, but Tang gently stopped her. Tang, Wine, you don't have to do this. I already called a doctor. They will be here soon, but I'm sorry I won't be able to stay with you. I look at him giving a small warm smile. Tang, I really appreciate how you have been caring for me lately. Because of that, I don't want you to lose focus on your company. Tang chuckled and pulled her into a hug. Take care of yourself. I will miss you like crazy for these 2 days. One is smiling, turning her head along his back as they hug. I'll miss you today and make sure you take care of yourself too, okay? Taehyung nods, resting his chin on her shoulder. A moment later, Taehyung and Mr. Kim about to leave. Mr. Kim hugged his wife warmly. Meanwhile, Taehyung gave Wine a slight hug, leaning into a whisper softly, causing her to blush. Her warmly tasted even better with that fever this morning, Ivy. He pulls back from the hug, clearing his throat with a smile as Wine blushes deeply, remembering the kiss. After Taehyung leaves, Wine is sitting on the couch with the living room waiting for the doctor. She feels weak, her headache worsening. Leah, you don't need to do all this housework today. You can rest. Leah is the only maid Mrs. Kim had sent after the Taehyung and Wine's wedding letter. When Taehyung asked Wine if she wanted more staff, Wine refused, saying she didn't like too many people around. She also believed she could manage things herself. Wine will handle it. After all, I will have away from this house for 6 months. She has had plenty of time to rest. Mrs. Kim showed Anna sharp glance from the corner of her eyes, clearly hinting at she is fit when to step in. Leah, but Mrs. Kim finds herself feeling right now. Thanks her told me to make sure she rests. Mrs. Kim, I hired you for this job, so you will do as I say. If you can't handle it, you can leave right now. Leah gulps, intimidating by Mrs. Kim's cold tone, and quickly agrees. When sitting nearby, quietly clutches her fabric on her skirt. Another wave of panic rushes through her head. The fever hasn't gone away either. Just then a doctor entered the room. Dr. Rose, Miss Wine, did your husband call me? Wine nods and slowly stand up. Rose is not only a doctor but also a close friend of Wine. She immediately senses Wine's discomfort. Rose, congratulations, you're pregnant, but you are weak. Your blood levels are low, which you have been fainting and getting decided case. You need to take it easy and not overwork yourself. I will be back tomorrow for another checkup. In the meantime, make sure you get enough rest and take the medicine I prescribed. One note, still smelling Rose answered the medicine. In the living room, Mrs. Kim is sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Her expression is distant as Rose entered the room. Congratulations, Mrs. Kim. Your daughter-in-law is pregnant, but she needs proper care. She is very weak right now. Mrs. Kim eyes hardened slightly in surprise but excitement. Mrs. Kim, well, everyone little weak during pregnancy is not something to be concerned overly about it. While Rose frowned, clearly confused by Mrs. Kim's indifference. Rose, are you sure, Mrs. Kim? What I am saying is serious. If you don't take proper care of her, they could be complicated later. You could please stop calling her my daughter-in-law again and again. I'm disgusted. She abruptly stopped herself, realizing Rose's growing anger. Mrs. Kim, we will take care of her. Don't worry about it. You can go now. Rose sighed heavily, knowing she has no point in arguing. Became a doctor and started treating Taehyung's family. Rose had been Taehyung's classmate and knew him well. But Mrs. Kim's coldness had always rubbed her wrong way. In the room, Vine was pacing the room silently, excitedly, her heart racing with joy. She couldn't wait for share this good news with Taehyung. He always had talked about having a child, about how much he wanted to be a dad. He dreamed of having a cute family with his wife, his first love. This wasn't something he deeply desired, and now it was finally happening. She paused, deciding not to call him right away. Still buzzing with excitement, Vine stepped out of the room. Mrs. Kim, I don't see why you're so excited about this. They probably won't be thrilled with this news. I think he still wants to focus on his business more than on starting a family right now. Besides, we didn't exactly need an hire at that moment. He only thing older brother Susan already a 5-year-old son, and his wife is 8 months pregnant again. We're happy for them, of course, because she has come from a wealthy and respected family. Mrs. Kim's tone was casual, but it was like a tone of bricks, and her smile felt red. Yeah, Mom, I know they will be happy. Van responded softly, her hand instinctively resting on her stomach. From Mrs. Kim cold words. Well, if you think so, fine, but don't expect any special treatment. No one is going to treat you like a queen. Think so, you should start getting back to her chorus quickly. She spoke creatively, dispensing my excitement. Later that night, while laid in a bed, feeling a sharp pain throbbing in her head, her fever worsened, and after spending the entire day working non-stop, she was completely drained. Her body was weak and exhausted. She collapsed onto the bed and tried to keep her eyes open. The fever exhaustion took over, and despite one phone kept ringing and the nightstand vibrating with the missed calls. Thing had already tried calling her twice afternoon, but her phone was in the room. Out of reach, he had called 3 or 4 more times, but there was still no answer. In the dining room, Mrs. Kim was calmly eating her dinner when Leah, the maid, approached cautiously. Mrs. Kim, mine hasn't come down for dinner yet. I went to her room to call her, but she said she wasn't hungry and seemed really weak. She has been working all day by herself. Could you call her down? I'm worried. Mrs. Kim cut off her mid-sentence, clearly irritated. I don't understand why everyone is making such a big deal about her. She had lunch earlier, didn't she? Skipping one dinner isn't going to kill her. When she is hungry, she will eat something herself. You don't need to worry so much. Leah looked troubled but didn't argue any further. Just as Mrs. Kim's phone rang. Hello, son. Mom, is everything okay? Why is fine? And why she isn't picking up her phone? I've called her multiple times and now her phone is dead. His voice was tanned. Mrs. Kim. She's probably sleeping right now. Is she alright? His voice softened a bit, but concern regret. Yes, she is fine, Rose Kim, doctor. Suddenly, Dia started signaling Mrs. Kim to stop pleading with her not to say more. Mrs. Kim hesitated. What, Mom? Why? What did she say and why did you stop talking? I said she is weak and needs some rest and medication. You don't need to worry so much. Just talk to her tomorrow morning. Taehyung, Mom, could you please let me talk to her? Something doesn't feeling right. Taehyung was a pause. Mrs. Kim growing more annoyed and raised her voice slightly. What now? My son doesn't trust me. Taehyung was silent for a moment. No, it's not like that. I mean, I just muttered, that's all. Mrs. Kim rolled her eyes. Taehyung, you have been only gone for a few hours. Fine. By the way, how are you? Is everything okay? So now you are concerned about your mother. Well, I'm fine, just a bit irritated. Okay, take care. I will finish some work and go to bed. He hung up the call, feeling unsettled but knowing there was not much to the morning. One slowly wake up, feeling slightly better after a long night of the sleep, but her head is still throbbing with a dull achy. She remembered she hadn't eaten dinner the previous night and just so those crosses her mind. There was a knock on the door. Come, Leah. She says weakly entered the room carrying a tray of breakfast placing on the table. Breakfast, yes, thanks. You called me early this morning. Your phone was dead, so he asked me to bring your breakfast when I told him you were still sleeping. I nods grateful and Leah leaves the room. Thanks, she mumbles and gets up from the bed, plugging her phone under charge. Once it power on, she several notifications, 10 missed call from Taehyung, 1 missed call from her mom, and 5 messages from Tae. Messages. Taehyung, hi baby, why aren't you picking up my calls? Taehyung, Jackie, are you okay? Taehyung, what's going on? Why are you so busy and forget her handsome husband? He sent her a sideways selfie from his hotel room. Tae, did you eat dinner? I miss you, Jackie. I love you. Why aren't you checking up your phone? One green, feeling a warm spirit through her as she reads his message, she quickly replies, Fine, I will do. They miss you. After sending a message, they decided to call him as soon as the call connects. Young immediately answered, Hello. Oh my goodness, hearing my wife's voice first thing in the morning. Fine, I'm still feeling a bit dizzy, but much better than before. Okay, did you eat breakfast? When glanced at the breakfast tray beside her, take a spoonful of and I smiled. She responded, See, I'm eating right now, she said with a mouthful of food, causing Taehyung burst into laughter. Taehyung, I have a good news for you. Taehyung guessed dramatically on the other end. Really, tell me quickly, I'm dying here. Fine, take a deep breath, her heart racing. Fine, I'm pregnant. There was a brief silence from the other side, making Vine's heart quicken even more. You are not happy? Taehyung, are you kidding me? Vine, I'm beyond happy. Oh my god, after 9 months I will become a dad, he says excitedly. You don't know, love, how much I want to hug and kiss you right now. Vine finally loves too, feeling a huge wave of relief as she thanks God silently in her hand. She taking another bite of toast. Okay, finish your breakfast. I will call you later. Love you and take care of yourself and our child too. Fine, okay, bye. Love you too. She ends the call feeling refreshed after getting the news. Fine, good morning, Mom. Fine greeted softly and Mrs. Kim turned toward her with a cold stare. So you're finally up. I didn't bother waking you up today because I know you need all the energy you can get. You have got a lot of work today. One frowned slightly. Mrs. Kim, my close friend are coming. Few guests are coming over today. I haven't promised them feast prepared by my daughter-in-law, meaning you. Everyone has different days, so you will be cooking multiple dishes, each to their liking. When I slightly widened, Mrs. Kim continued if she didn't notice. Mrs. Kim, but before you start cooking, the laundry needs to be done. There's a whole pile waiting, and don't forget to iron my husband's suit. We wouldn't want any wrinkles when we host important people, would we? One vitally feeling a wave of exhaustion already coming over her. One, but my Mrs. Kim didn't say was finished. After cooking, I need the living room spotless and the carpet needs to be vacuumed. And make sure the vases are all polished. Our home needs to be shined for my guest. And don't forget to set the dining table perfectly. Use expensive silverware. We didn't want them thinking we are cheap, right? One clenches her feet, feeling the pain in her head. One, but I'm still not feeling well, Rose. The doctor said I shouldn't work myself. Mrs. Kim, please, pregnancy is not excuse, just lack of weakness is normal during this time. Women have been doing these things for ages. Don't expect any special treatment. You're not royalty, you will manage. Now get started on the laundry before it piles up even more. Once you are done, go ahead and prepare a full course meal for each guest and don't forget the dessert. I will be checking it to make sure everything's perfect. Don't disappoint me. And why and one pause turning back. Don't forget a flower, fresh pockets. I don't want a house looking drab when my friends arrive. No, Gwen. We don't have all day. One filler tear break at the corner of her eye, but she quickly wipes it away. The force her to move.